For this drop. Hey. Hey. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Man, it's so good to see you. Hey, listen, if you can see me, if you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Say in the comments, I hear you, Aubrey. You look so great. I can't believe you're wearing black. What? You're wearing black today? Oh my gosh. I'm so surprised. Racing. Oh yeah. This is why we're family. He says, I feel that. I feel that beat drop. Hey, if you're just jumping on, say hey. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Tonight, we're going to be talking about things are changing. And tonight, are you changing? I've just been like in this. I'm excited, okay? It's not like a bad thing. It's going to be a good thing. I want to do two things. I want to make you aware that things are changing if you're not noticing, and I want to give you permission to change. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but for right now, say hi when you jump on here. So thankful that you guys are taking some time with me. I'm going to take a lot of drinks today, man. I've been fighting this. Not sure about great, but good for sure. Hey, I appreciate that honesty, man. That's real right there. That is real. I love that, Ryan. Thank you. Most people are like, oh, I'm great. Especially Christians. Have you noticed that? Like, for those of you that are just hopping on here, I've been in ministry for 20 years. Oh, my God. But I've been in ministry for 20 years, and Christians are the worst. Like, Christians are like, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. And you're like, No, you're not, dude. You look like you got beat up 6 times and left to die, and you're telling me you're great? Like, I don't think so, right? Hey, if you can hear me okay, just say that it's not cream soda. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this on the YouTube. I'm not going to say the name, but you can read it, okay? There we go. How about that? It is raspberry flavor with other natural flavors, which is always a weird deal. Hey, if you're jumping on here, just say, hey, if you can hear me okay, just say I hear you all right in the comments, and we're going to get rolling tonight. I hope you're doing well. I apologize that I missed last night. Everything sounds good in my ear, so I'm just waiting on you to tell me it sounds good. Um, Apologize about last night, man. I could barely talk. I've had this sinus infection for like 3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks. It's been absolutely bonkers. Had this thing. I've gone through amoxicillin. Now I'm on Z-Pack. Z-Pack actually seems to be working, so I'm excited about that. It's not COVID. I've been tested 3 times in 3 weeks. It's not COVID, but man, it's just been crushing my voice, and so I was like, there's no way I can do a live tonight, and so Racing, thank you, Racing. Everything sounds good. So glad you guys are here. I'm going to kind of reset this because I've been posting videos. So I love the lives. Thank you, Ryan. Look good. I love doing these live videos, and it's actually one of my favorite parts of this whole YouTube journey that I'm embarking on. But I also am taking the videos and kind of cutting them down and posting them in shorter version for people to watch those. So I'm going to kind of reset, and it'll feel a little bit like, dude, we've been here for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes already. Why are you starting over? I'm just explaining it to you, all right? So what I'll do is I'll kind of introduce. Now I'm just walking you guys through this, so it's not weird. I'll introduce, I'll talk some, and then we'll have some times for comments and reconnecting and stuff. So let's jump into this. You guys ready? Here we go. What's up, everybody? My name is Aubrey with a Y. Why? Because I have questions just like you, and I want to help you get your questions answered so that you can be everything that you were created to be. Hey, tonight we're talking about change. Change. Things are changing. Things are shifting. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but communication has shifted. Look how we are talking right now. Look what you're listening to right now. Like, we search YouTube for everything. Communication has shifted. The way we communicate, social media, awareness has shifted. I mean, now we're aware of things that we never thought about before. All these things are at the forefront now. Money is shifting. You know, you've got this thing called the crypto market that all of a sudden it is kind of starting to grow and build like a stock market. Church has shifted. I've been in full-time ministry for 20 years, and church is changing. Security has shifted. You know, some of us have lost our sense of security through COVID and through riots on the Capitol. Supply has shifted, right? I mean, I don't remember a time in my life I couldn't go get toilet paper if I didn't want it. If you know what I mean. Come on, but things are changing. And with everything that's changing around us, I want to present you with a question. Why would you not change too? Why would you not change too? Because as things are changing, and I'm not saying you change with or into those things, but things are changing, and a lot of the time when things change, we can change with them to become a better version of ourselves, to step into the next level of our life, to become a better you. So tonight, there's 2 things I really want to do, and obviously this is a huge topic, and we're not going to be able to cover all of it tonight. But the first thing I want to do is I want to help you be aware. I'm amazed at how many people just are not aware of change and shift in their lives. Like, maybe you know a person like that. You're like, yeah, dude, it's different. Like, come on. You know, I mean, you hear people say things, you're like, what? Like, that still exists? You know, you see the way some people dress, you're like, what? Like, where did you even get those clothes? You know, now everything's starting to be cool again. But I'm absolutely amazed at how many people are not aware that things are shifting. And there may be some of you on here that you may feel something stirring in you, but maybe it's just scary. Or maybe you just have this thought of, I just can't do that. I mean, that's just not the way it is, you know? And you're sitting here, or maybe over the last 2 years, if things have changed, our world has changed dramatically. You're like, what if we did this? What if we, oh, you can't do that? Or maybe somebody told you, you can't do that. Tonight, I want to help you be aware that things are shifting and understand that a lot of the times when things shift, we shift with them, and not for the worse, but we can shift for the better. So I want to help you be aware. And the second thing I want to help you do is I want to give you permission. I'm going to look straight in your eyes, straight in the camera right now, and tell you it's okay to change. How many things in our world are changing because that we always said, well, this is just the way it is. I mean, who would have thought that Netflix would have killed Blockbuster? Come on, man. And some of you watching, you're like, I don't even know what Blockbuster is. What's Blockbuster? Well, Netflix, believe it or not, I had to explain this to my kids the other day, is that Netflix actually wasn't always online streaming. Netflix back in the day, to rival like Blockbuster and stuff, was DVDs. And you picked 3D DVDs and they sent those DVDs to you. And then when you watched them, you sent them back and they sent you the next 3 DVDs. That's how Netflix started, and it killed Blockbuster. And who would have ever thought that movie stores would no longer exist? And now the old Netflix doesn't even exist, and you just flip on your Apple TV or whatever it is that you're watching, and you just turn on Netflix. It's okay to change. I want you to hear that, because some of us are scared to death to change. And listen, some people aren't going to like that you're changing either, and that's okay. We're going to talk about that. And even sometimes change can cause negative feelings of fear, or like somebody's going to ostracize you, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you'll upset this, or you'll upset the status quo. You can't do that, okay? But I want to give you permission tonight that it's okay to change. It's okay to shift. Everything's shifting around us, and you have permission to change too. In fact, I think that if you don't, you could be missing an opportunity to step into the next level of your life, of your business, of your relationships, of your calling, right? Well, you hear that a lot in churches, calling. Well, I don't care if you go to church or not. You were created for a purpose and for a reason. And I think that we have the opportunity to take a step towards that. It's okay to shift. In fact, one thing that this idea has been ringing through my head is that crisis clarifies priorities. Have you noticed that the last 2 years of just crisis? I mean, it feels like, maybe I'm projecting on you, I don't know, but it feels like crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis. But through all of it, it clarifies priorities if we allow it to. And after all that we've walked through in the last 2 years, there have been priorities that have been rediscovered. Maybe it's more time with your family. Maybe work became a little less important and your family became a little more important. Maybe it's a hobby that you let go because you just got too busy, or maybe it's a calling that you let go of, or maybe it's a dream that you let die because you thought that could never happen. That's what I mean. I want to give you permission today that maybe you're feeling something stirring, but you're just not aware that things are changing around us, and it's time for you to potentially change as well. Don't let go of those priorities, man. Everybody, those that aren't aware that things are changing, and I think they're changing for the good, okay? I'll just throw that out there. I think I am so excited. It has not been an easy 2 years for me as a pastor for 20 years. Excuse me. Things are just different than they were before. And it's been hard to say, okay, what does the future look like, and how am I going to change with that? And that's been hard, but at the same time, I'm so excited of like, wow, we're about to jump into something new. We're about to see something that was better than what was. And I believe that that is the case. If we can change, your life can be better. I believe our world can be better. I believe our country can be better. Hey, if you agree with that, would you let me know in the comments? Just say, hey, it's okay to change. It's okay to change. I needed to hear that. I need to hear that it's okay to change. Like, I just want to bust the boxes off of you today. Like, I want to bust what anybody said, what anybody has said that you can or cannot do. Maybe the dreams that you've had that they said, well, you could never do that. Man, I'm just telling you, you can, and you have permission to do it. Okay. And the things that have been scared, you've been scared to do, it may be a good time to step in to those things. The priorities that you've rediscovered, man, it is a good time to fight for those things and not let them just go back. All right. If this is helping you, let me know in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. Say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is helping me. Come on. Here we go. Come on, man. You give me a come on, man, wherever you're at right now, because I think this is fire, man. I'm pretty jacked up. I don't think I'm going to do it. Anthony Thran, my man. Let's go, Anthony Thran. Dude, me and Anthony go way back. We go way back. I hope you're doing well, man. Hey, message me, Anthony. Let's catch up, bro. Let's catch up. I don't know why I thought that was funny. Now, there's a lot going on in my life right now, too, guys, that I'm not going to share right now, but it's some exciting stuff and things that I've been scared of are beginning to Apostles' Creed. That's right, Anthony. Oh, dude, that is greatness, dude. So for those of you, me and Anthony are having inside jokes here, and then I'll keep going. I got a little bit more we can talk about. But Apostles' Creed was a band that Anthony and I started. Gosh, what year was that? Like 99, 2000, back in the day, man. Back in the day. Racing Lemons, I think now. Here, let's see what you guys have to say. And if you have a question, let me know, man. I love it. I'll cut all this part out so I won't embarrass you. But I think now more than ever, you have to change with what's going down. Yeah, Racing, I think so, man. I think you got to be careful too, because not all the change that's happening in our world is good. Okay, so I think you have to, and this is where I would say, as a Christ follower, I think you have to. When I say priority, I think you have to get clarity on who you're created to be, because I think something's happening right now where things are getting very specific with assignments, like things that you're supposed that you've been created for are getting very clear and very specific. And I would call that priority. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people in the last 2 years. And it's easy to let things just pull you back into the way it used to be. I mean, I even see this in church, and I'm talking about church for those of you that are on here that may not be Christ followers, or you just ran across this. I've been in ministry for 20 years, so that's kind of my world, you know. But even church, I just see so many people just like, let's get back to the way it was. Let's get back to the way it was. And that's good. I don't think let's blow it up. I'm not saying that. But I think we've learned things through this last 2 years that have brought us back to some priorities, right? And so, yeah, I'm with you. Teresa says, change is so scary. It is. Teresa, change is very scary. And that's what I mean. I want to give you permission to change, because especially like in the Christian world, I feel like that we teach people, because change can bring what feel like negative emotions. Like, change is scary. And like you said it, look, you even said it right here, Teresa, you need to be doing this live. Even when you know it's for the better, change is scary. So even good change can bring negative emotions. And a lot of the times, especially in the church world or the Christian world, we teach people, well, negative emotions are bad. Well, negative emotions aren't always bad. In fact, I think sometimes negative emotions can be clues, right? And we're taught, well, get rid of negative emotions, or you just need more faith, or pray more, or do these things. I think a lot of the times negative emotions can actually be clues that if you'll listen to them, not necessarily act on them, but if you'll listen to them, they can actually guide you to a better place, to a better you. So it is hard. And a lot of the times what we would call negative emotions actually aren't negative. They're clues to move us forward. God is resetting, reestablishing his identity for us. Let's go. No doubt, man. And I think that's a bigger statement than Yeah, that's a big statement. And I think that's what God is doing. I think that's one of the biggest things um, that's happening, especially in the younger generation, is just a lack of identity, not knowing who they are. So, yeah, God's definitely resetting and reestablishing. I'm having a hard time with my new life change, trying to figure out how to walk this new path without my son. Yes, Teresa. One, so sorry for your loss, Teresa. So sorry for your loss. There's no words that I have. Um, but my heart does ache for you. And pain is real, man. You know that's one thing that I've been talking about a lot. And I'll finish getting back into this, but I love this. This is why I love the lives, because we can talk about real stuff, man. I don't want this to be Aubrey preach your sermon. Teresa, one of the things that I have learned and am learning, not that I'm an expert, but especially over this last 2 years, is that the things of God are not necessarily the absence of something else. Like everybody talks about light and darkness, and God's the light. Well, it takes darkness for the light to prevail. You know what I mean? So like people talk about, I'm sure somebody's quoted this to you, Teresa, with what you walked through in the recent times, but they've quoted something like, the peace that passes all understanding. Well, what a lot of people think is like, I don't feel any peace right now. And peace is not the absence of conflict. The peace that passes all understanding is the peace that we can find in the middle of pain, in the middle of chaos. It doesn't mean that there's not pain. It doesn't mean that there's not chaos. It means that we can find peace in the middle of that. Like faith is not the absence of fear. you know, Faith is being able to walk when you are fearful. And so those negative emotions are not always such a bad thing, but as you're walking through, especially when you've experienced something like you have, you've got to lean into, not try to get rid of the negative things, because some of that is a natural process, especially when it comes to losing somebody. Some of that is a natural process. Um, but you've really got to lean into what is available as you walk through that. And that's what I love about the promises of God, is that he doesn't say nothing's going to happen to you. He says, I'm there with you. And I think sometimes we get mixed up that God's not with us if I'm feeling this or if I'm feeling that. No, man. It's not the absence of all that stuff. It's the ability to find it while you're walking through it. And so I don't know if that helps you, but man, so sorry for your loss. That's insanity. Anything else? Anybody have any other yeah, Teresa. I'm also struggling with being upset with God. Excuse me. And that's okay, Teresa. I just read your comment. That's okay. That's okay. You find that. I mean, you seek truth, and I believe that if you seek truth, even when you don't feel it, you'll find it. And so that's okay to feel that way. It really is. You gotta work through those things, especially if you're not. It's okay to be upset. Like I tell people all the time, you think God can't handle what you are feeling, and I'm not minimizing what you're feeling. I'm just saying, like, keep it real with God. Like, if you're mad at him, let him know. He's not going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Teresa, I can't believe that." You know. Um, so keep that real and walk through that. Pray honestly to him, man. Ashley Sanchez, welcome, Ashley. Anybody else? Anything else you have to add to that? This is good stuff right here. This is what I want these lives to be. I want these lives to be real, not just me talking on the screen. So change isn't always easy, but you have permission to change. So what is it that keeps us, and from shifting into those priorities. Like maybe you have a dream that you're scared to pursue, and you're like, oh, I can't do it, or maybe like you're going through something that you're like, I don't even see the end of this. Like there's no way. What are some of the things that keep us from moving into that, to changing to the better, to shifting into what's new? There's a lot of things. Yeah, fear is a huge one. I mean, we could talk all night about all of these things, but there's something that I want to hit quickly that I think is one of the major players, and it's not even an emotion, it's the voices you're allowing in your life. What voices are you allowing in your life? Now, there's all kinds of different voices. There's friends, there's leaders, there's people you lead. I want to talk about friends and leaders. Bishop Rick Hawkins, here we go. Pastor Rick, thanks for jumping on here. Pastor Rick, I need to have you on here sometime, man. This man can drop some truth bombs. I'll just be sitting there listening like everybody else. But I think this is so important. And Pastor Rick, I'm glad you jumped on, because you're actually in my notes to talk about. This man has been a voice in my life when I've lost a voice. There's a man of God that was speaking into my life from 12 years old. And I'm going to go cry. I'm going to keep it real. Lost him this last year and a half. Just meant a lot to me. Meant a lot in my life. Been speaking into me since I was 12 years old. Very prophetic voice in my life. And what I mean by prophetic is that he saw me for who God created me to be, for the potential that was inside of me, not where I'm at necessarily, right? And I pray that this channel can be a voice for you, to give you permission to be who God has created you to be. And so Pastor Rick is a gentleman that has stepped into my life from afar and close over this last year and a half. And literally, this is the importance of the voices in your life, okay? Because when you're shifting into something, when you're changing into something, it's scary. Just like all you guys said, it's scary, it's fearful, it's overwhelming. It feels like there's no end. I'm mad at God about it. All those things are very, very real, okay? But the voices of leadership that you have in your life are so important. So important. Especially growing up in a world like we're growing up in now, where 60% plus of marriages end in divorces. You don't have a father rooting you on. You don't have a mother rooting you on. You don't have that support system built into your family. It's so important that you have leaders in your life that see you not for who you are and where you're at, but who you can become and what God has created you to be. All right. And so Pastor Rick has been that. Pastor Rick has I think I've shared this with you, Pastor, but I was ready to quit at some point during COVID. I was like, I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of doing this, man. And Pastor Rick, I don't think you actually grabbed me by the collar, but it felt like it. And it, not in a mean way, but in a very strong voice, saying, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Don't stop. That was a pivotal moment for me. And so I think it's so important when we're talking about what keeps us from changing for the better, what keeps us from shifting into those priorities or that dream or those things that maybe are stirring up in us right now. I think voices is a big part of it, because I felt all those emotions right there. I mean, just to put into context, I mean, you're scared because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I battled with depression during that time, because I've been in ministry for 20 years and all of a sudden everything's different, right? And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm feeling all these things, but yet there was a voice that, and again, just nobody take this and say, oh, he grabbed him and shook him. That's what it felt like, but that didn't really happen. And it was almost like, you better keep going. You better keep going. And so I think those voices that you have are something that is so important. What voices are in your life? What voices are you allowing in your life? Okay. Because here's the reality. There's a lot of voices that want your attention. And I think it's more about what voices you're allowing into your life. Okay. And then I'm a firm believer in this. I've experienced this in my life multiple times. When something is stirring in you, if you will be aware of it, oftentimes God will bring those voices into your life that will help you clarify what it is that's stirring in you. You're like, I feel this, but I don't know what it is. And then these voices God will put in your life, if you'll stay aware of it, that will help you clarify those things, right? And so it's more about what you're allowing. It's not even always going out and finding people. It's what's around me that I'm not listening to or I need to be listening to. All right. And so I think that voice is so important. I think and thank you again, Bishop Rick Hawkins. I watched you tonight on your Facebook Live. It was incredible. I appreciate you sharing that. I think another piece of voices in your life is your friends. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I mean, I don't care how you want to chop it up. You can argue with me. You can say, well, that's not true. I have these friends. Blah, blah, blah. You can argue with me all you want, but show me your friends and I'll show you your future. All right? That's biblical. Bad company corrupts good character. And so listen, if you have these clarified priorities, if you have these rediscovered dreams that you have, if you have this stirring inside of you, you've got to take a friendventory around you, okay? You've got to look around you and say, who are these people that are around me? Let me just, this night is all about permission, okay? This night is all about permission. It is okay to outgrow people. I'm just going to tell you that. It is okay to move on from people. It's okay. That's all right. There are people in your life that are not necessarily there forever. And that's not a bad thing, okay? I've had close relationships over the last 2 years that are barely even relationships anymore. And it's not because we're mad at each other. It's not because it's just naturally growing apart. Because I'm moving this direction and they're moving this direction. I want to give you permission. You don't have to hold on to those things, because show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And there are times that something shifts in you and you've got to start to put yourself around people that are headed the same directions. And so, I mean, we've seen that not just on a spiritual level, but gosh, I mean, how many people that you love to death have you vehemently disagreed with over politics in the last 2 years? Come on. I'm like, dude, I love you so much, and I did not know that we could so passionately disagree with each other. Come on. Now, I'm not saying get rid of friends for that, but what I'm saying is that this last 2 years, it's okay if some relationships need to be let go of. All right? Now, I'm not talking about marriages, okay, necessarily. Get counseling, do all that you can for that. But it's okay. Some grew apart. Some relationships strengthened significantly, and that was a change for the better. That there's a greater health and a greater capacity to move into things that you needed to be moving into. Some were forced to deal with things that were swept under the rug years ago. And then you start spending some time together, and it's like, I'm not sure I ever really forgave you for that, you know? So there's all these different relational dynamics, but what I want you to know is that when it comes to rediscovered things that you need to change, that you need to shift into, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Because if you have the wrong voices, whether it's leaders or friends in your life, you cannot, I'm just going to say it like it is, you cannot walk into that. You can't. Go look at Pastor Rick's message from this last couple of weeks. He'll tell you. He says it in a much better way than I said it, but you can't be around the people, everybody. There's some people that'll go with you, but you can't be, everybody doesn't go with you, and that's okay. So I struggled with that the last 2 years. I'm like, man, these people have been so close to me and blah, 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 and there's just not this, we're not even in the same like wavelength anymore. It's okay to let that go, to move into the better that God has for you. So that's what I really wanted to hit tonight. And I know there's fear. I know there's overwhelm. I know there's, gosh, we could go deep into mental patterns that we live in, cycles and things that need to be broken in our thoughts. And we could move into all of that. But I just wanted to start with voices, because even just recently, this last several years, um, after what we've walked through, just the voices in my life have been so important, as the voices that I listen to, but also the voices that I've let go of, whether that's friends, leaders. Um, and if you're in that situation, I told you that many times in my life, when God's stirring something in me, He brings voices to clarify that. I, if you're in that situation, it's painful to let go. Okay, I've let go of some best friends over this last couple of years. Okay, but yet I've experienced it enough in my life to have faith that God is going to bring the voices that are going to together grow into what I'm created to be, what they're created to be as a whole, where we're headed. Okay. And so I hope that helps you. If that helps you, let me know in the comments. Maybe you have some other comments. Pastor Rick, if you're still on here, if you have anything to add, man, please feel free to. We'll have to get you on here sometime if you would be willing to do that. I'd love to do that. So just quick recap. Things are changing. Why aren't you? Right? I want you to be aware that things are changing, and I want to give you permission to change. And as we rediscover, crisis clarifies priorities. And as if we have rediscovered some of these priorities, what is keeping us from shifting or changing into those things? And a big piece that I just wanted to talk about tonight is the voices. What leadership voice are you allowing in your life? What friend's voice are you allowing in your life? And again, big reason I started this channel is because I want to be a voice. And you know what? There's some of you that are like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's cool. I know I'm not the voice for everybody, but I do know that God has allowed me to walk through what I've walked through to be a voice for those that are headed the same direction, right? And so if this has helped you, man, I would love if you would like this video, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed over on YouTube, this is a new channel, all right? So I would love it if you would subscribe, like that video while you're there, because I guarantee you this is that there are a lot of people that are searching YouTube right now that need a voice just like we've needed in our life. And I think that this YouTube could be that. So let's go back to these comments here. I hope this helps you guys. What you talking about, Willis? I have no idea what that means. Such good stuff tonight. Thank you, Pastor Rick. Thank you for taking the time to jump on here. I know you have a lot going on. Ashley says, I'm sharing it. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. We'll be back to Wednesday next week. All right. Again, I had to push this to today because, man, I was just, my throat was on the struggle bus. But we'll be back to Wednesday, 9:30 next week. Kicking around a couple of topics right now. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll put a poll out there and we'll see what we want to talk about. Hey, real quick while we're here, before we wrap this up, is there anything that you guys are like, man, this would be awesome to talk about? Well, this would be so cool to talk about. I've gotten many questions, like from change to are crystals bad? You know, like, awesome. I love it. Let's talk about stuff. You know, this is the real and the raw right here. So if there's a topic that you're like, man, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And again, listen, I always start every video with, this is Aubrey with a Y, right? Because we all have questions. And just because I said something doesn't mean it's truth, all right, to you. Just because it's truth to me doesn't mean it's truth to you. I want you to wrestle with it. Like if it rubs you wrong, or if you're like, you know, I don't know if he's right, go wrestle with it. Go wrestle with it, because I believe that if you seek truth, you'll find it. All right. Raising our kids in this crazy world would be a good one. Yeah, it would be. I don't talk about raising kids a lot because mine are still so young. And it's not that I don't know a lot. Part of me is just like, let's see how my kids are as teenagers first before I start giving all this advice about it. No, I have phenomenal kids. God has blessed us with great kids. But seriously, Teresa, that's good. Any other topics? If not, I'm gonna let everybody go. We'll jump off here. Appreciate you guys. It means a lot to me that you would spend 45 minutes with me. That really means a lot. I pray that this adds value to your life, man. I just pray that this inspires you, that like something is just like burning inside of you, like you know. And I hope that you feel permission to be who you're created to be tonight. So, hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you for spending time with me. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. Even if you're on Facebook, head on over. I'll post that link in Facebook real quick. Please hold. So you can go over and subscribe on Facebook or on YouTube if you haven't. Thank you, Teresa. Race on. Love you too, man. Anthony Thran, stirred up, Lord. Hey, Anthony, make sure you send me a message, bro. It's been a minute, dude. Let's catch up, man. I want to hear what's going on with you. I'm going to post this YouTube link real quick. Go over there and subscribe. And I'll post a short, see, now my brain's gone. That music is soothing. Which music is on? Oh yeah, this is my lo-fi beats playlist right here. You like that? I'll send it to you, Ash. You can use it. Well, thank you guys. Aubrey with a Y. I'm out.